Hi, good evening, dear all. Before we start the second lesson, I would like us to firstly review some of the most important grammars that we have learned from the first lesson. So first of all, we are going to differentiate between two very important vocabularies, 如何 and 怎么. So, firstly, 如何 can be used in two ways. The first usage of 如何, it means how to, and it is always used in the middle of the sentence to ask people a specific method to do something. In this scenario, 如何 equals to 怎么, and they are totally interchangeable. And to use it, you can simply put 如何 or 怎么 right before the verb. Or, in another word, you can put the verb right behind 如何 or 怎么. For example, 解决问题解决 tackle 问题 problem 解决问题 tackle a problem, solve a problem. So if you want to ask, so how to solve this problem? You can simply put firstly the objective at the beginning of the sentence. 这个问题 and should, how this problem should be solved. 该这个问题该如何解决呢? Because you see, like in this first example, 解决 is the verb, and to 要解决的是问题, so you put the 问题 at the beginning of the sentence, and then you put 解决 after 如何. So the final translation for how to solve this problem is 这个问题该如何解决呢? You got it? So we are going to do some more exercise following this logic. Firstly, 使用工具使用工具 to use this device. 使用 is a verb, use. 工具 device. En français, c'est outil. So, you will have some more time to compose your own sentence. So I hope you work it out. The result is 这个工具该如何使用呢? How this machine, how this device should be used. Or how to use this machine, how to use this device. This next one, 提出建议 propose a suggestion. 提出 propose 建议 suggestion 提出建议 propose a suggestion. So how to propose this suggestion? In Chinese, it should be right. I think you all got it. So 这个建议该如何提出呢? The next one, 写好作业写好作业 Write the homework well. 写好 Write well. 作业 homework. Write well the homework. Write the homework well. So how to write the homework well? Yes. 这个作业该如何写好呢? 这个作业该如何写好呢? 叙述故事叙述故事 narrate a story 叙述 narrate raconter en français 故事 une histoire, a story 叙述故事 raconter une histoire narrate a story. So how the story can be narrated? Yes， 这个故事该如何叙述呢？这个故事该如何叙述呢？那么这个是我们讲过的关于如何的第一个用法。当他在询问做某件事的方法的时候 ，when it is used to ask for a method, you can use 如何 and put the verb right behind 如何 and in this scenario 如何 equals to 怎么。And the second usage of 如何 is to request somebody's opinions on something or ask information about a situation. So it's like, what do you think of what's the situation about? In this scenario, 如何 equals to 怎么样 Attention, in this scenario, 如何 equals to 怎么样 And they are totally interchangeable, but in this scenario, you cannot use 怎么 Instead, you can use 怎么样 And the usage of it, you can simply put 如何 or 怎么样 at the end of the sentence. Let's also follow some examples. 80后的收入 80后 it means the 80s. So 80后的收入的 you know is like connector to for in French it's like de, but in Chinese the order is a little bit different. So 80后的收入 it's the revenue of the 80s. So what's the situation about the revenues of the 80s? You can put 如何 at the end of the sentence and maybe give a bit scenario of the timing. So now 现在那 what's the current situation of the revenues of the 80s? 它的中文翻译就是现在80后的收入如何 You can just put 如何 at the end of the sentence. It's right. It's quite easy, right? So let's try some more examples and exercise. 中国的经济中国的经济 So China's economy. What's the current situation of the China's economy? Yes, 现在中国的经济如何？现在中国的经济如何？ The next one, 父母的健康父母的健康 So the parents' health 父母的 parents 健康 health. So now what's the situation about the parents' health? Yes, 现在父母的健康如何？现在父母的健康如何？ The next one, 评委的评价评委的评价评委 we have learned it already is the judges. 评价 is comments. So the comments of the judges. Yes, 现在评委的评价如何？现在评委的评价如何？ And as we have said here, like you can use 怎么样 instead of 如何。For example, 现在中国的经济怎么样？现在父母的健康怎么样？现在评委的评价怎么样？ But pay attention, you cannot use 怎么 at the end of the sentence. And well, after talking about the two usages of 如何, we are going to talk a bit 怎么. So besides the first usage shared with 如何 to ask a specific method to do something, how to 怎么 can also be used to ask for reasons. So in this scenario, it equals why. 怎么等于为什么 And you cannot use 如何 in this scenario because 如何 cannot be used to ask for reasons. So the usage of it is 怎么 And you can put simply the adjective or the verb right after 怎么. Also, I will show you one example. 他们吵架了。他们吵架了。So here, 他们 they 吵架了。吵架 we have learned it already in the last lesson. It's yes, quarrel. And pay attention here. 吵架 you see for 吵 the left part is with the mouth, right? So 吵架 it means verbal quarrel, verbal fight. It is not the real fight. It is verbal fight, it's quarrel. 他们吵架了 They quarreled. So if you want to ask the reasons why they quarreled, and as we said, you can simply put 怎么 before the verb, right? And put it in an interrogative way with the interrogative mark. So it will be 他们怎么吵架了？他们怎么吵架了？ You got it? It's quite easy, right? So here are some exercise. 天气很冷。天气很冷。The weather is really cold. 天气 weather 很 very 冷 cold. Before you compose your own sentence, try to think it in English when you say the weather is really cold. But you cannot really ask in the question why the weather is really cold. No, like really here it can be a little bit strange. So you need to change it a little bit. So what word are you going to use to change 很 in the interrogative way? Think about it and compose your own sentence. Right, I think you all got it. So it's 天气怎么这么冷？天气怎么这么冷？ So 怎么这么冷？很 Here you can use 这么 So why the weather is so cold? Why the weather is so cold? Let's try another one with the verb. 你迟到了。你迟到了。你 you 迟到 are late. Être en retard. 你迟到了 You are late. Why you are late? How to say it in Chinese? Yes. 你怎么迟到了？你怎么迟到了？ The final one. 衣服很贵。衣服很贵。Think about the second sentence we used. How to put 很 in the interrogative way. Yeah. 衣服怎么这么贵？衣服怎么这么贵？ Why the clothes is so expensive? 那你学会了吗？关于怎么呢？除了以上提到的两种用法 So for 怎么 Besides the two usages we have just mentioned, 怎么 can also be used separately at the beginning of an interrogative or exclamatory sentence. It is used to show the surprise of the speaker towards something. It's like in English when you are listening to other people talking about one thing that really surprised you. You say, what? And here in Chinese, it's 怎么? Right? And in this scenario, you cannot use 如何. You cannot use 如何. For example, 你不认识我了. You don't recognize me. 你 you 不 don't 认识 recognize 我 me. 你不认识我了。You don't recognize me. What? You don't recognize me? 那你就把怎么放在句首。You can simply put 怎么 at the beginning of the sentence. 怎么 virgule. 你不认识我了。What? You cannot recognize me? You don't recognize me anymore? Okay, it is quite simple. I will leave you to do the next three. 你要回家。你要回家。You want to go home. You want to go back home. What? You are going back home? Yeah. 怎么？你要回家？他们要离婚。他们要离婚。They will divorce. They will divorce. What? They will divorce? 怎么？他们要离婚？他要加班。他要加班。She will do overwork. She will do overwork. She will overwork. 怎么？她要加班？这个就是怎么的第三个用法。This is the third usage of 怎么。So, in summary, 如何 there are two usages of 如何 that we have learned so far. The first one is to ask a method. 询问一种方法。In this scenario, you are going to use 如何 in the middle of the sentence, and it equals to 怎么, and they are totally interchangeable. And the second usage of 如何 is to ask about other people's opinions on something, or to ask about the situation of something. And it is often used at the end of the sentence, and it is equal 怎么样，怎么样。And pay attention here, you cannot use 怎么, you have to use 怎么样。And for 怎么, we have learned three usages. The first one is as 如何 to ask about the method to do something. So it is interchangeable with 如何. The second one is to ask for a reason. It is equals why. You can simply use it in the middle of the sentence, right before the verb. And you can change it with 为什么, 为什么. The third one, you can also put 怎么 at the beginning of an interrogative or exclamatory sentence separately, and it is to express the surprise of the speaker when listening or when facing a specific situation. So I hope this can be helpful for you. And next, we are going to learn this very specific word. I don't know whether you have learned it before, but I think it's really important for us to do some more exercise and to give you more examples of this specific word because it's really important for us. 过, 过. So actually 过, it is a particle. This particle is used to talk about past experiences or past actions in the Chinese grammar. And it is always placed immediately after the verb to indicate that that verb was done or experienced in the past already. And in English, the equivalent is actually the present perfect tense. Have, like I have done that, I have eaten, he has seen it, and so on. So the basic use of 过 for the past experiences, the most basic structure for 过 is to just place it immediately after the verb without an adjective. For example, you see here, the structure is you put the subject and verb and 过. So let's see some example sentences. 我已经看过. 我已经看过. have already seen it. I have already seen it. 我听说过。我听说过。我 the subject, I. 听说 hear about. 过 it is a particle indicating the past sentence. For the present perfect, so I have heard about it. Right? I have tried that. 我试过。试 try. 我试过。So in each case, the speaker is expressing that they have already done an action, and at least this action was in the past. But pay attention, using 过 doesn't give an exact time to the action. So that's why you cannot really translate into the past tense, like I saw it. That's the main difference between 过 and 了. For example, I've already seen it here. 我已经看过. Like the special focus is on the action itself. This action was finished, and this action was finished in the past. 我看过，我已经看过. But if you said like, I saw it. I saw it. 我看了，我看了. It means simply that like you finished this action, but you are not really strengthening on the importance that this action can have on the present. That's the main difference between 了 and 过. I hope this is clear for you. And let's see how to put 过 with an object. So when in this sentence you have an object, the structure is only a little bit more complicated. You can put the object right after 过. For example, I've been to Canada. I have been to Canada. 我 been to 去过. 加拿大，加拿大，在这里去 is the verb. 加拿大 is the object. So 去过加拿大，去过加拿大. You put the verb before 过 and put the object after 过. I have been to Canada. 我去过加拿大. So, for example, I have already seen that film. 我已经看过那部电影。我已经看过那部电影。Have you seen him before? 你见过他吗？你见过他吗？ He's had this kind of dish before. 他已经吃过这种菜了。He's had this kind of dish before. 他已经吃过这种菜。And maybe it's a little bit difficult to absorb at the very beginning, but you can simply think of the verb and 过 as a combining into one unit. So the action plus the aspect. So here the aspect refers to whether or not the action was complicated. Then the object just comes after this unit. It's a little bit like the basic moves in French, but actually you are strengthening the end of this action in the past, right? And how to put it in negating ways. Because 过 is about past actions, you have to use 没 to negate it. The structure for this is 主语 subject plus 没 plus verb plus 过 plus object. And as is often in the case in Chinese grammar, the object is optional and the subject sometimes is even more optional because like you can simply judge it from the scenario. If it's already explicit, you didn't need to mention it anymore. That's why sometimes the subject and the object are optional. And 没 can also be swapped for 没有 for emphasize. Let's take a look at some example sentences here. 没看过，没看过。I haven't seen it. 没看过没 and plus the verb 看 see 过 and here you don't have an object so you don't need to pay attention to it 我没有喝过你的酒我没有喝过你的酒主语我 plus 没有 to negate and plus the verb 喝 drink and plus 过 the particle for the past the object 你的酒 your wine I haven't drunk your wine 我没有喝过你的酒 he hasn't been to America 他没 and then 动词 been to 去过object America he hasn't been to America 他没有去过美国他没去过美国 they are both okay so these are the grammar points I think I made them clear we are going to do some more exercise in the second session and now I'm going to give you a small dictation about the vocabularies that we have learned. So please take out of a piece of paper to write down the words that I will speak to you. Are you ready? And you are going to find the answers in the next slide. Okay, the first vocabulary. 细节 details 细节 Alright, the second one 恩爱is an adjective of husband and wife loving between them. 恩爱 The third one 电台 radio station 电台 The fourth one 对比 It can be used either as a verb or a noun. For example, as a verb to compare 对比这两本书 or when it is used as a noun 经过对比 after the comparison 对比 Okay, the fifth one 如何 Okay, we have learned it already for several times 如何 two usages first one to ask about the method how to and it's equal to 怎么 and the second one is about what yeah the second one is to put it at the end of the sentence to ask somebody's opinions about something or to ask about a situation 如何 and in this case that will be interchangeable with 怎么样 right and you are not going to use 怎么 in this scenario 如何 The sixth one 离婚 So it's a verb to divorce 离婚 The next one 自杀 It's a verb. It means to commit suicide 自杀 The next one, 抱怨，抱怨，抱怨。To complain about something. 抱怨某事 You can simply put the noun right after 抱怨。抱怨某事。Or to complain about something, you can put simply the sentence of the thing that you are going to complain about right after 抱怨。抱怨。For example, they complained about the weather being so cold today. 他们抱怨今天天气很冷。抱怨。Did you get it down? 抱怨。Okay, next one. 婚姻，婚姻，婚姻。It's a noun. It's marriage. It's marriage. 婚姻，婚姻。So in the last session, we have distinguished between 婚姻、离婚、结婚、婚礼。婚姻 is marriage. 结婚 is get married. 离婚 is to divorce. And 婚礼 is the wedding. Right? 婚姻。Did you succeed to get it down? Next one, very important one. 吵架，吵架，吵架。To quarrel, to quarrel, to quarrel. And here actually 吵架, it is composed of two different characters. The first one is 吵, it is a verb that we are going to learn like in this lesson as well. 吵架 is like fight. 吵架, a verbal fight. 吵架. So when you're using 过, where to put the 过? Yeah, right after the verb, right? So it will be 吵过架. 吵过架. They have quarreled. 吵架. 相敬如宾. 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 To respect each other like guests. To respect each other like guests. If you still remember the story that I told you last time, like in the ancient time, there was this person who suffered from a very big change in his life, but he still treated his life with an equal attitude, and his wife is really respected him, and she continued to serve him as before, and he also respected his wife as guests. So that's why, like when you're describing like the two, one couple, they respect each other, you can use this verb. You can use this sentence. 相敬如宾，相敬如宾。The next one, 感动，感动。It is an adjective. Is to say moved, moved. Somebody is moved. 某人很感动，感动。And when you are going to say it's moving, it will be 感人, right? 感人. So distinguish these two. 感动，感动。And the last one, the judges, 评委，评委，评委。The judges, 评委。So it's the judges in the competition, right? 评委。Okay, now you have already written them down on a paper. You can do an auto-correction with the answers here. If you didn't get all of them right, please try to exercise more, especially on your writing. I know it could be a little bit difficult for you to follow the online class. However, like the practice needed to be done by yourselves. So I will try to give you more exercise like this so that we can make sure that you got a good mastering of all the grammar and the vocabularies that we have learned. Okay, If you feel prepared, we will move to the next lesson. If you still need some time, just put a pause here and autocorrect the vocabularies here. Okay, see you in the next lesson.